It's Saturday, the 28th of September. I have a message for my governor, Kate Brown. I'll try to move this so I can actually be seen. But here's the thing. Governor Brown, I think you are a good person. We've met briefly. You might not remember me. I was interning with, that's even worse, Oregon League of Conservation Voters at the time, and actually with Planned Parenthood Advocates of Oregon at the time. I did them both kind of around the same time, and so you have become the governor since then, and you are a good governor, and I think that you are not given the credit that you deserve for being a good governor. However, I think you could be doing a much better job, particularly with paying attention to rural and conservative Oregonians. So, sadly, I can't run until 2026, otherwise you would know who I am by now because I would be a competitor in your race. I'm instead running for mayor of Eugene. And I have a simple message for you after 1 full minute of rambling. Here's what it is. A lot of conservative Americans feel disenfranchised by, for example, the educational system, by public educators, by people who want to be smarmy and act like they know more than, what everyday people understand about the world. I'm going to talk loud as I drive too, just for the sake of good audio quality, not because I'm trying to yell at you. And I'll try to keep this under 5 minutes. It's quite simple, Governor Brown. I think that we should focus on the colleges and universities here in Oregon, particularly our OUS universities, but also all universities. These spaces are incredibly hostile for conservatives. I understand that as somebody who's politically moderate. I'm extremely engaged with politics. I'm not one of the moderates who's an undecided voter. I always know who I'm voting for until they can change my mind. But truly, I just think that we should really pay attention to these wonderful people who are conservative and who want to get a college education in a place that's generally hostile to that sort of attitude about the world. Conservative and progressive approaches are necessary for differing issues. We should conserve everything that's good, and we should progress towards a better future on things like the climate, better education, mental health, affordable housing, kindness in Oregon, art. These are things I'm focusing on in my own campaign. But I will say this. I have a simple plan to try to make conservatives feel more enfranchised. I'm beginning a podcast because I believe in education, for example, and I want everybody to attend college, but I don't want them to be freaking demonized just because of anyone they voted for or because they have a certain policy issue. I obviously get so heated that I want to just pick up the phone and drive someone unsafely. But don't send your state police at me like you sent at some of those Republican senators. Seriously, it's not a big deal to pick up the phone a little bit while driving. I want to be safe though, and I'll tell you exactly what the plan is in terms of K through 12 schools in my remaining 1 minute and 42 seconds. I think that we should try to take the social justice emphasis that is so strong in our universities into our K through 12 schools. That way, you don't have a situation where these people are getting called bigoted and racist for not having like a basic background on white privilege, on intersectionality, on, school to prison pipeline, all sorts of important issues that progressives fight for and that I'm grateful for the advocacy on. So how are we going to do this? It's quite simple. And there is precedent for creating statewide curriculum for things that really matter. And I would call it something like American social movements. This is a middle school, possibly even elementary school, but additionally, especially a high school curriculum. That it's not a state mandated curriculum necessarily in terms of the assignments and in terms of the lesson plans, but there needs to be the fulfillment of American social movement history because we need to have a deep understanding and intellectual understanding of Black Lives Matter, #MeToo, everything, the Black Panther Party, the civil rights movement that Howard Zinn instead calls the Black Revolt. These are things people need to understand. The Tea Party in 2010. So we need to have American social movement history and give people that literacy there. And then I think it's your responsibility to figure out how we're going to change colleges and universities to make them as inclusive for everybody as the social justice warriors like myself want. Here at 2020.org if you want to learn more about my campaign. Thanks, Governor Brown.